ESPN put out their own fantasy booking, which, by the way, I love that ESPN put out wrestling fantasy booking because it shows you where wrestling is at right now, and I think that that's a wonderful thing. ESPN put out like an article that they said, here's where we predict the rest of John Cena matches will be throughout the rest of the whole year. And it was logical. I enjoyed that it was there. It was obviously done by people who watch WWE, which I love. I hate it when wrestling stuff comes out and it's people who don't watch the product. It's literally rule number 1. Like, they're going to rule number 2, speculate wildly, before they've gone to rule number 1. And I will tell you, I'm like a hound with this nose. If you don't watch the product, trust me, I know. If we've interacted on any wrestling level and you don't watch the product, sentence number 1, I know. And I may be polite, but I know. And I don't like it. Because then people love to speculate wildly. It's in our nature. But I'm very much against wild speculation when you don't watch the product. So I was happy that the ESPN article, it felt to me like the people behind it watched the product. That's rule number, and I love that. However, I disagreed very much with everything on the list, except for like one match. One match I think we were the same on, but even the result of that match, we were not the same on. The whole list to me, it was not, I didn't like the list. I didn't like it. But I said, I'm not just going to come and complain about a list because I like the spirit behind the list. I just happen to disagree with where it went. It's not constructive, though, to just disagree with where it went. So I thought today we should get together and fantasy book John Cena's final year. Going forward, what will the remainder of John Cena's final year look like? And I think now is the time to do it. We could have done this in January, but quite frankly, the minute that John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes, the whole thing goes out the window. And to an extent, the fact that the Rock didn't show up at WrestleMania probably put the whole thing out the window. So now that we kind of know where John Cena is, at least right now, this is where I could see the year going, and things could change, obviously. But I basically have put together not only a list of matches, but I've kind of factored in the amount of TV appearances between the matches that it would take to build them, and I have brought us down from wherever he is now, around 26 to 0 in my exercise, okay? So, obviously, we will go to Backlash, and we will do John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. That will put us at 25 because I want to say his 26th appearance will be the SmackDown before Backlash, somewhere around there, okay? So I have John Cena beating Randy Orton at Backlash. And maybe that'll happen clean. Maybe it'll happen with a little chicanery. However it happens, it happens. But at Backlash, John Cena beats Randy Orton. Now I have John Cena showing up on SmackDown after Backlash. And at SmackDown is where he starts running his lips, going like, listen, if you guys have nothing for me, then maybe I don't need to be here for the whole year. I've beaten your best. I've beaten Cody Rhodes. I've beaten Randy Orton. And there will be no rematches. I'm here for 25, 24, however many more appearances. I'm not doing rematches. I've beaten your best, and then boom, he gets interrupted. Nah. Here comes LA Knight. We now get to see an LA Knight, John Cena promo battle. The stuff that was sprinkled in, the stuff that we were hinted with last year, or however long ago it was, when John Cena and LA Knight had a little bit of friction, and then they ended up teaming up, but still LA Knight wanted to put himself on this on the soapbox, on the spectacle. He wanted to make sure the spotlight stayed on him. And maybe John Cena can call him out for that. Maybe John Cena can say, I tried to put you over, kid. It didn't work the first time. What makes you think it's going to work this time? Kid, put me over. John, I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if you've checked the merch sales. I don't know if you've listened. But ever since you've been gone and before you got here, everybody was saying, L.A. Knight. Yeah. John Cena could say, you're nothing but a cheap catchphrase, and LA Knight could come back with, what, you mean like hustle, loyalty, respect? I mean, this could be an epic thing. because I have LA Knight versus John Cena happening at Saturday night's main event in Tampa. I think that that's like a perfect match where you can, you don't have to make it like we're selling out a stadium match, but it does become this fantasy match where it's like, whoa, we're going to get to see LA Knight. He gets a title shot. He gets to fight John Cena. It's on Saturday night's main event. Feels like a draw to me for NBC. And you can also have John Cena beat LA Knight clean at Saturday night's main event. Okay, coming off of Saturday night's main event, the next show is Money in the Bank. And we're kind of done with the LA Knight thing. LA Knight moves on to what's next, but hopefully has a bigger spotlight on him, even in losing to John Cena. I don't think that there's any shame in that. At Money in the Bank, we start building. We'll do a couple of TV appearances between Saturday night's main event and Money in the Bank. Although, maybe not that many, because I think Money in the Bank is early June and Saturday night's main event is late May. Maybe one television appearance where you get CM Punk coming out and reminding John Cena that 14 years ago, he gave John Cena one of the most memorable matches of John Cena's career, and it was one that John Cena lost. We run it back. We tell the history of Money in the Bank 2011. And CM Punk says, John, I said from the beginning, I wanted one more with you. And I didn't even know you were going to be a a-hole when I said it. And everyone go, ooh. And he goes, but John, I'm not going to let you leave here with the championship. I've done that before. I've left here with the championship and I had to come back. This is what he says, right? John, you want to leave with the championship. I won the championship and I left the WWE and I saw what it looked like to have somebody just crowned new champion, to make a paper champion. And it wasn't good. So I had to come back and defend the title. You know who the paper champion was? It was you. You know who I beat the champion? You know who the champion was that I beat at the time? Also you. Cena, this time, I'm going to stop you from leaving the way you couldn't stop me from leaving. Cena, 14 years later, Money in the Bank, Los Angeles, California, CM Punk versus John Cena. And now John Cena, of course, says, that's the problem with you, Punk. You reached your peak in 2011 and you just stayed. You're a nostalgia act. And Punk and Cena can go back and forth. And then we get to John Cena versus CM Punk. And maybe Seth Rollins interferes. Maybe there's whatever happens. But John Cena beats CM Punk this time at Money in the Bank. We have another Saturday night's main event, maybe in July. And here's my thing. Cena shows up on Raw and does it again. Okay, I did this a couple months ago. But a couple months ago, I'd only beaten Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Now I've beaten Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, LA Knight, and CM Punk. Who's left? And out comes Dominic Mysterio. This is the moment. We all know it's coming. A Dominic Mysterio babyface turn is on its way. There's no escaping it. You've heard the crowds reacting to him. You heard the crowd reacting to him in on the WWE WrestleMania post show. You heard the crowd reacting to him at WrestleMania, where Triple H actually had to send him out to get up and celebrate with the stadium again. So we can kind of coast for a couple months with Dominic Mysterio still being a heel but getting cheered. But if you want John Cena getting booed and Dominic Mysterio getting cheered, you have Dominic Mysterio come out and challenge John Cena. And at Saturday night's main event, before SummerSlam, you do John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship not on the line. John Cena defends the WWE Undisputed Championship against Dominic Mysterio at Saturday night's main event. Now, of course, John Cena is able to win clean, but the fact that John Cena beat Dominic Mysterio clean and that Dominic Mysterio stood up puts Dominic Mysterio going forward in full-fledged top babyface mode. So he's good to go. And now John Cena has beaten Dominic Mysterio. We get to SummerSlam. And I feel like this is where ESPN and me agree. That SummerSlam is where Travis Scott comes back. And at SummerSlam, and between Saturday Night's Main Event and SummerSlam, we have Cody Rhodes return. And Cody Rhodes, talks about the fact that John Cena needed a rapper who walks about a mile a minute. Who walks about, whatever the opposite of that is. A mile and I don't know. He walks very slowly to the ring. You need a hip hop artist sauntering to the ring like he's an old man in order to distract me, in order to play on my weaknesses, in order to beat me. John, I hope you're happy about it. And it leads us to a SummerSlam match where it's Cody Rhodes and Bad Bunny versus Travis Scott and John Cena. And that way we have Bad Bunny, we have Travis Scott, we have the whole thing. And ultimately, the result of that match is Cody Rhodes pinning John Cena. So now it's the first time John Cena has eaten a pin since he's returned. It's the first match that he's lost since the Royal Rumble. And now John Cena tastes defeat again. And now Cody Rhodes has momentum back. And we see Cody Rhodes coming back strong. We see nothing but edge from Cody Rhodes. We see a different Cody Rhodes. We see a hungry Cody Rhodes, right? But he doesn't get the shot right away because we go to Clash in Paris. Clash of the Champions, whatever it's called. Clash in Paris. And that's where Roman Reigns steps in front of Cody Rhodes. And in Paris, we do Cena versus Reigns. Well, Cody Rhodes has to deal with whatever Cody Rhodes has to deal with while he's earning that shot at John Cena. Maybe John Cena says you have to earn a championship match with me. And maybe we do Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. Maybe we do Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. Some big Cody Rhodes match. Cody Rhodes has to defeat a big villain in Paris while John Cena faces Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. John Cena is able to win after Paul Heyman's guys stop Roman Reigns. And then we go into Survivor Series. See, Heyman's guys stop Roman Reigns. And it leads us with a War Games match where it's Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and whoever else is the future of the industry versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, I'm sorry, Sami Zayn, and maybe the Usos. But you've got your Team Roman and Punk versus Team Seth and Braun for War Games set up. And then your championship match at Survivor I'm sorry. No. We're not. That's where we'll get to at War Games. But before we get to War Games, that's why Heyman's guys are interfering and stopping Roman from winning. That's where we'll get to. But before we get to War Games, we have Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. John Cena's final time in Australia, and that's where we do Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena after John Cena has beaten Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, LA Knight, CM Punk, Dominic Mysterio, Roman Reigns. Now it's Cody versus Cena one final time in Perth, Australia. And this is where Cody Rhodes wins back the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes wins his title back. And John Cena, at the end of the match, shakes Cody's hand. Now, after Perth is where we see the final boss again. And the final boss lets John Cena know that John Cena is a failure. The final boss lets John Cena know that he never sold. The final boss was never interested in John Cena's soul. He only ever wanted Cody's soul. Because John Cena was never going to be the final boss's champion. John Cena was just a fill-in. John Cena was just here for a year. John Cena was the immediate answer to a question, not the long-term answer to a question. Because the final boss has always had somebody else that was the long-term answer to this question. The final boss has always had somebody that he knew would be able to carry the company the way the final boss wants the company carried, not just for this year, but for years and years and years. And he'd look at John Cena and he'd say, because the final boss has always had a chosen one. And out comes Drew McIntyre. And we finally get to it. After Perth, we finally have John Cena and Drew McIntyre staring down. And when we get to Survivor Series, not only do we have, it's in a baseball stadium in San Diego this year, not only do we have Team Roman and Punk versus Team Seth and Braun Breaker, but we also have John Cena versus Drew McIntyre, with Drew being The Rock's chosen one. And Drew McIntyre beats John Cena at Survivor Series. And he does it with interference, and he does it in a cheap way, but he beats John Cena. At the end of the year, coming off of Survivor Series, we have Saturday night's main event. And John Cena says, Drew, I want one more match. Because now John Cena's a babyface again, right? John Cena has realized that he was wrong. John Cena recognizes that the crowd was rocking with him. John Cena says, no matter how I tried to get you to boo me, you wouldn't do it. And I felt that love and I felt that appreciation. John Cena is now a good guy. John Cena, at the final Saturday night's main event, early December of the year, challenges Drew McIntyre to one more match, this time in a steel cage. Drew McIntyre beats John Cena in a steel cage. So John Cena comes out after this Saturday night's main event and says, there's one more dance on my dance card. And it's announced that in that last week of December, maybe right around New Year's, right before, maybe between whatever that weekend is, between Christmas and New Year's, that John Cena is going to be holding a special event. And this is something we predicted a long time ago. But it's called The Last Time Is Now. And it's a celebration of John Cena, but it's also John Cena's last match. The same way Terry Funk got Terry Funk's WrestleFest for his last match in 97 before he returned. John Cena gets his last match on his own show called The Last Time Is Now from the TD. I mean, look, I'd love to do it from Fenway, but it'll be December in Boston. So if it's not from Gillette or wherever the Patriots play, it would probably be, I would imagine it'll be from TD. It'll be in the arena in Boston. But John Cena will say it's time to test the future of this business. And John Cena's last match in Boston will be John Cena versus Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, who has been on this run since April with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, will face John Cena in John Cena's last match. And we'll see a spear, and we'll see John Cena kick out. And we'll see an attitude adjustment, and we'll see Braun Breaker kick out. And just when the match is reaching its peak, Braun Breaker will small package John Cena. We'll just roll him up, small package, 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker beats John Cena with a small package. Braun Breaker has his hand raised, and John Cena's career is over. John Cena cuts a promo, thanking everybody, thanking the people of Boston. Everybody in the locker room pours out, celebrates John Cena, and that's how we go off the air, and that's how we end John Cena's career. So, the matches are Backlash, Cena versus Orton. Saturday night's main event, Cena versus LA Knight. Money in the Bank, Cena versus Punk. Saturday night's main event, Cena versus Dominic Mysterio. SummerSlam, Cena and Travis Scott versus Cody and Bad Bunny. Clash in Paris, Cena versus Roman Reigns. Crown Jewel in Perth, Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Survivor Series, Cena versus Drew McIntyre. Saturday night's main event, Cena versus Drew McIntyre in a cage. The Last Time Is Now, Cena versus Braun Breaker. And of course, as more events get announced, that's all subject. This is a living document. But based on information that we have now and wild speculation, this is the year that I would give John Cena in his final year in the WWE.